Presenters, Maarten Winks. He has some audio issues over there, but I think that will be fixed soon, hopefully. And myself, Anton Thiele, application engineer. Yeah, the objectives of today is to understand the new features of the PRAESENSA 2.1 firmware release, and then especially the focus on the Callstacker for PRAESENSA. Some slight other changes we also will handle there. So basically then the introduction welcome, a short commercial overview and a short feature overview. And next I would like to show some use cases of the Callstacker and also some other features. We also, since 2.0 actually already, we support the extension kit. I will also show you that, and a small software feature which is also included now in 2.1 for specific certification. Finally the wrap up then, and to answer your questions. That are the topics of today. So first of all, the commercial overview.
Call stacking. Why call stacking? In places like airports, numerous announcements are made from various locations. Let's have a closer look at one specific zone. Multiple announcements to one zone at the same time result into a loss of information because higher priority calls will suppress lower priority calls. For example, 3 announcements come in from 3 different locations. What does call stacking do? When a zone is occupied, or if a higher priority call interrupts the message, the call is recorded and played automatically when the zone becomes available again.
Final boarding call for passenger James Collins booked on flight UA 3721 to Kansas City.
Boarding for flight KL3526 to London will start soon.
Gate change for flight LH8585 to Chicago from gate D27 to D53. Call stacking provides confidence that announcements will always be played and no information got lost.
So this is a short movie to explain the basic principle of it. So the basic message is the fact that you don't want to have any message lost. That's the here are the use cases mentioned. So in case multiple messages are to be delivered at the same time, calls need to be queued or stacked so that they don't get lost. And in case a central message and a local message collide, stacking ensures that all messages are played. You can imagine, like maybe the movie also briefly showed, you can have a local boarding gate or a local area somewhere where an operator can make local calls. And from a central, you don't know who is making a call. And with this, you are always assured that you don't, first of all, you don't break into that existing message. So you could, for example, with priorities, you can always overrule. But in this case, when you use the same priority, for example, then or lower priority, then you can still make that broadcast, and at the end, when the zone becomes available again, then your message will still be played. That's so that at least all these messages arrive.
Okay, Anton. Oh, there is still echo.
Yeah. Okay, then I will keep going. In case a high priority call takes place, the lower priority call needs to be queued or stacked so that they don't get lost. And in case audio feedback is to be avoided, time shifted calls can be made in which the spoken message is shortly buffered before played. So that last thing is especially useful when you have your microphone close to the loudspeaker, so that when you are in the same zone, the same area, when you are close to a loudspeaker, you might have a risk of having feedback, and this will really assure that you won't have this. Especially, for example, also when you might use this in combination with our audio VoIP interface, so our voice VoIP interface. And when you make a telephone call, telephones are less sensitive, or they create earlier feedback. They are more sensitive for the sound around them, and especially in such case, you could also use this call stacking function to have it time shifted. So if you are in the same area you make a phone call to the PA system in order to make an announcement in that same zone, yes, that avoids then that you will hear any feedback, and the quality of the sound is also better in that case. So the software licenses, yeah, it is licensed. It needs to be installed on the PRAESENSA controller. So it's no hardware, like maybe someone of you know from the Presidio side, our predecessor, where you had a special unit for this. No, this is now integrated inside of the controller, and with that you can, yeah, just by installing this license, you have this feature available. It's now available. The 2.1 is already released, so it's available for use. You can have one license per controller. Yeah, in case you have a duty and standby controller, then you need to have that on both of them. So that means that also, yeah, if you have a redundant controller, you need also to have done a second license to install on the standby controller. If you have a system with multi-controller, then also that should be there on the master system and on the subsystem level. And in that case, yeah, if you have such questions, you can of course ask us more on the details on how you can set it up. It also depends on the use case in master subsystem scenario. So the order number is PRAESENSA. That's the license also what you can install. Besides this, I believe we're going to show you this call station extension kit, and that, yeah, it can already work with 2.10, 2.0, but now also with 2.10. Yeah, this is of course operational. We have with that 24 buttons and indicators, which can be exported to an external panel, for example. And such solution, so one such PCB can be inside, yeah, or behind a panel being mounted. It will support up to 2 call station extension kits. So it represents these 24 buttons, like you have 2 call extensions kits on your call station. This has the same function then. Yeah. So it's a button extension board for custom-made PRAESENSA call stations or emergency panels. And yeah, you can have that 24 buttons, up to 5 associated LEDs, status LEDs. Later on, I'm going to show you this also here. I have a special, that's a red PCB on top of that, just as a test board to show you the LEDs or the indicators. But in principle, it only comes with the information which you see here, with the connectors and the possibility then to connect it to your own customized panel in that case. You have RJ45 connection to the basic kit, so you can either connect this device to a standard regular call station, or you can connect it to the basic kit, and that's also a PCB of actually let's say the call station which you have currently, but then without the case around it and without the LCD. So if in case you want to really build it somewhere behind a panel, as mentioned, and create your own solution. This part, important to mention here, is not EN54 certified because the housing is missing. Yeah? So it needs for you a project certification for evac use. Yeah? So it's something which we cannot on ourselves certify just because of the housing. Furthermore, of course, all the electronics is compliant to the EN54, but yeah, that's then the combination in total should make that. So you need to certify that then for the evac use at such moment. Yeah, but that's the responsibility of the installer who places this in a compliant housing. Let's go to the next chapter. That's the feature overview. And now especially on the Callstacker in this case, which is now in the 2.1 available. This call stacking, as mentioned, assures that calls will always reach the intended zones, even when occupied. And calls can be recorded until a zone or all zones are available again. Yeah. There's also, besides the call stacking, that time shift function. This avoids wrong or misspoken announcements. So it gives the option in case someone says, yeah, I don't want to broadcast immediately. I want to cancel that record still before I stop it, and then before it will be broadcasted, I cancel it. And to avoid the possibility, first of all, to get audio feedback, but the other side to avoid that someone says, oh, I have something misspoken, I want to do my record again and then make the announcement. So you can choose for that. You can also, of course, do the regular live calls, but if you choose the time shift, then you have this feature. Time shift announcements: record a call and broadcast after finishing the call, and the operator has 2 seconds to cancel it before broadcast. And it can also be cancelled during the broadcast. Yeah. The storage for call stacking is that you can have a maximum of 120 seconds per recording. That's also verified on user experience, what the regular calls are and how long they should be normally. And this is decided on based on that feedback. In total, about 30 minutes of recording space is available for this feature, for the call stacking. And then we have 8 recorders available, so 8 parallel calls could be recorded and played out. Also not unimportant is the fact that it has the full API support. What I mean with that is that it can be used by a third-party PC call application. So if someone creates a PC call application, you can also offer that in combination with this call stacking feature. So you don't have, a system integrator does not need then to create its own recording and playing or its own feature there. It can use this call stacking feature then controlled through the API, through what we call the open interface. And that's applicable for both the call stacking as well as the time shift function. So how does the setup work for Callstacker? Well, first of all, you need to add the license. And next, the call stacking functions need to be configured in the call definition. For the ones who already are familiar with PRAESENSA, we work with call definitions. I come back to that in the next slide. Next, this call definition can be assigned to an action. And so first you create a call definition, and next then an action to trigger that call definition. So let's first then explain that call definition. And next I show something on the configuration of that call definition. So how does it work? Well, you have a call definition at one place. You have set a priority of that call because, as already as in standard operational mode, you have the option for one call to overrule another based on the priority which you define in that call definition. Next, you have a start tone played, and then
in the interest of security,
you have some composed messages.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended at any time.
For example, here you have 3 messages composed and which can then be played as one message.
In the interest of security, please do not leave your luggage unattended at any time.
You can also indicate how many repetitions this message should have. Yeah?
This is a functional test for system operation.
And then you have your live speech phase. And then you have your end tone. This altogether makes your call. And that's also how the configuration always takes this sequence for a call. There's one thing missing, and that's the zone selection, of course. You need to know where this call is going to. But this in total creates your call. When you there push the button at some point, you need to have a trigger.
In the interest of security, please do not leave your luggage unattended at any time.
This is a functional test for system operation.
And then when you release the button again, you got the end tone. So this is the sequence of such call definition. Yeah. So then the next step is then, of course, you need to have that zone selection that's required. But this is done how this configuration looks like. So you have a name of that call definition. You have a priority, as mentioned, that's important. There are some other factors like the maximum call duration, start tone messages, the number of repetitions which you can have there, and the live speech. This is now live speech, and you have an audio input which is there defined. You have end tone, and you can have some composed messages which you would like to add. And then you can also even say if that the call should be continued if it would be you would like to have it overruled by something else. But so the Callstacker setup has now the option for the partial and stacked. So that's the parameters to configure. So you have your partial, you have your stacked, and that are the most important two I mentioned. And then you have the forward on release, and you have your time scheme. So you have the first parameter is the routing scheme, that is partial or is stacked. You have your timeout, that means how many minutes that the recorded call can be kept in memory. Then you have forward on release. I will demonstrate that later on all zones or on each zone. For all zones, that means that the audio is only being played after all zones are free. That also avoids, for example, when you would have adjacent zones, that in one zone it is played already, and then the other one is, it will then play a couple of seconds later. So that will influence your intelligibility. When you have, then that will interfere with each other. So it's in that case better to say I want to release on all forwarded on when all zones are available again. But you could also think of each zone that you say, but I don't want to wait particular zones to wait until everything is free. So then you can set it to each zone. And then you have your timing scheme, and that can be immediately. So that means when your call then will be broadcasted immediately to the available zones. And you could also have a shifted call that it will be broadcasted after the recording is finished. That's a record and play function. And this last one allows operators to record the message and cancel it if not, and it eliminates the possibility of audio feedback. So that are the settings now which are added. So, for example, here you have a call definition, stacked immediate, and then forward on release of each zone. So that means now I have here on the upper side, I have a call station with which has a push to talk key. So it will start the call here. And then this call from that call station would like to reach zone 1, 2, and 3. And as you can see, then zone 1 is not occupied, so it's available. So it will then immediately play that message which is generated from this call station. For the other zones, which still have an other call running on a lower or same priority, will not be, or on higher or same priority, I must say, will not be overruled here, and can then be then after these calls are finished, it will then play the call which is recorded in the Callstacker. And that's for each zone. As you can see now, you have these three which are played at different times. And how do you then configure this? Stacked immediate at each zone. That's there set by each zone here. So forward on release of each zone. That's the important one. And that the So first of all, that you have the stacked, of course, set. That's something which is the routing scheme to enable the call stacking feature. There you have your timeout to say how long do you want to let it wait. It starts from 1 minute until until a longer time. I think 16 minutes. I'm not sure. Later check. Forward on release of each zone, and then you have the timing scheme immediate. Yeah. So these are the parameters for this function, which I just showed you. So the next one is time stacked shifted call. So it's again for each zone. As you can see, when you make the call with the call station, and you have now, when you release the push to talk button, it will not immediately play at the zone which is available, but it will be shifted. And still on each zone, that means when this call is ready, it will be immediately played at the zone which is free. And next, it will be played at the others where still a call might be running. And so it will, in that case, wait for that. Again, this call definition. Again, now you have a routing scheme which is stacked. You have again a timeout configured, but now for release on each zone, that's still all the same. But now you have here this timing scheme, which is now time shift. Yeah? So that's the difference here, the last one, time shift. And then I have one where you have the call definition for stacked shifted call forward on release of all zones. And now this will wait, this stacked call will wait until all these zones are available where he wants to have the call into. So this is sure that this is all synchronized, and then at once it will broadcast as soon as all these zones are available. That's the way how the stacked shifted call works. And how do you define that? Well, again, this call definition with all the standard type of settings. And now you have your routing scheme stacked, the timeout, yes, well, in this time, again, 5 minutes set, forward on release of all zones. So this is now the big difference, that we change that to all zones. Yeah, and of course, in a time shifted data. So these are the examples of the call definitions. There are some more spices, but that makes it, I think, more complicated. So, but yeah, so these are the basic and most important functionalities of the call stacking. Yeah, next, then I would like to move on with the demonstration. First of all, I would like to show you the time shifted call, and that's to a zone. One, I have just a simply only one zone. I have a call station making a call, and after the call is finished again, then I can release the call. Yeah, so let me try to bring up the camera here. Yeah, the call station where I configure this is this one here. So that's the one where I have configured it. So let me make a call to that. 1, 2, 3. You don't hear audio yet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And a release. One, two, three. You don't hear audio yet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so this is the way how the shifted call is working. Let me go back to the presentation. So that's in case audio feedback is to be avoided, then this can be used. Then I have another example where I create a call from a call station 1, and then I want to make a call with an other call station to that zone, and then it will wait. That's the traditional way of it will wait until that zone 1 is available again. Yeah, and then it will play the call station from the second one. Yeah, switching the camera again. So I have here a call station here. I make an announcement.
Your attention, please. In the interest of security, please do not leave your luggage unattended at any time. The areas in front of the arrivals and departures buildings are no waiting zones.
So this is what this one is still active now. And here now the feedback because of the fact that I'm close to this. So here I should have used that one. But yeah, so I make another call again.
Your attention, please.
Make here a call.
In the interest of security, please do not leave your luggage unattended at any time. The areas in front of the arrivals and departures buildings are no waiting zones.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Your attention, please.
Yeah, so here you go. Call again.
Your attention, please. Your attention,
Here my
please.
call. Wait for this one.
Please do
And
not leave your
other one.
luggage
I now
unattended
do it
at
to
any
2
time.
zones.
The areas in front of the arrivals and departures buildings are no waiting zones. Thank you. Your attention, please.
Wait for this one. And that's the other one. I now do it to 2 zones. Yeah. So now you see I have this call station. I made an announcement to 2 zones. Then one is already immediately broadcasted. And the other one will then wait until that's 3 again, and then it will be played. Yeah. So the next one is like you have a call station, a call from call station 1, and then you have a call from call station 2, where that then will wait until that call station is is available again for all zones. Yeah. So now I have again this call here. Let's one little bit feedback again. Because this is now just compared as a live call.
Your attention, please. In the interest of security, please do not leave your luggage unattended at any time. The areas in front of the arrivals and departures buildings are no waiting zones.
I have now started the call at zone 1 again. I put the microphone a little bit more away to avoid the feedback there. And now I have here my separate call station. I'm not sure if you can see that. This is the panel which you normally build behind somewhere, so where you can create your own solution with. But it can also then be used for your have your demo board on top. But I can select your zones. For example, these two now, zone 1 and zone 2. Some zone groups configured as well. I make a call. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. This will still wait until the zones are available again, because I now made a call to zone 1 and zone 2. And when I stop the call over here.
Thank you.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. So this is the way how the call station works. Now I have this here at the front. Normally what I said, you don't have the red board. It's just an internal test board. But what you can use for this in your own installation is to use such kind of connection boards, which you can with the supplied connectors. You can just put that in this, put it on the DIN rail, and you have all your connector leads, which you can then forward to your own panel. That's the way how you could then use it, and you get also the zone feedback, zone status information on your own customized solution in that case. I would like to thank you all for joining the session, and hope to see you in one of the next. Thank you.